I'm going live.
Okay. I'll be quiet.
Hi, everyone. Today I'm going to be decorating just a single layer cake. And this layer cake is a chocolate cake, which uses Dutch processed cocoa powder. And I've done a simple syrup with a coffee flavor, so it kind of brings out the chocolate. And I'm using a chocolate Swiss meringue buttercream. And so today the tools I have are a piping bag with a tip that's like an open star, and then it has a little inside divot on the piping bag with a coupler. Then I have two other tips, one that is similar to this, except it has a flat top and it's a little bit smaller. And then this piping tip, which has little teeth, and then it goes out on the inside, kind of like, I don't know what it's like, but anyway, it looks, I'm going to do that if you can see. And so then I also have my whatever this is called. I forgot what this is called. No, it's not a coupler. It's a smoother, and it's just easy to use icing with. And I've got icing, and I have extra icing in here. And then I also have sprinkles. So today I'm just making one layer because I made 4 layers and I froze the other 3 so that I can try a bunch of different piping techniques. So I'm going to start out by taking a little bit of frosting from my bowl. I'm going to smooth it out a little bit to kind of give myself a little bit of a base layer on the top of the cake. So I'm not going to do this on the sides because I'm going to be doing a decoration on the sides, but I want something that just kind of gets the crumbs all smoothed down. And this is kind of optional, but I like to do it because it gives you a little bit more frosting, and my parents love frosting, so if you can hear my dad, he's out there and listening in and replied he does love frosting. But anyway, so, and it also allows the crumbs to kind of be trapped in, similar to what you would do with a crumb coat on regular cake, but it you don't have to chill it because you're just going to be piping on top of it. So if you can't tell, it's just kind of a very smooth and thin layer, like so. And this is actually pretty easy to do if you use a simple syrup, because the simple syrup will make the crumbs a little less sticky. So they will be less likely to stick to your frosting. And so I'm just going to take this tip and I'm going to pipe around the border of the cake. And I'm just going to do, first I'm going to test it on my napkin. And so I'm going to be doing a mermaid shell around the outside. And so what you do is you pipe it and you push up, and then you go up and you go up. Like so. And you can do these as big or as small as you want. I'm just kind of changing it up, kind of making it have more movement. As I go along, it doesn't need to be perfect. It's kind of the point is to make it where it's not perfect. And also what's good about a single layer cake like this is if you have places where the side of the cake doesn't look good, you can just kind of decorate it and kind of cover it up and not feel like it needs to be perfectly straight with the rest of your cake. So I'm just going to start with that. If you can't see, it's just a little border. And then we'll be doing a few little things on the inside with a smaller tip. And with a larger tip, I'm going to be piping up the sides. Yes, being an expert at not perfect is the best because it'll never be perfect anyway. So I'm just going to put on the smaller tip so I have the inside done, and then we'll put on some sprinkles, and then I'll do the sides. So on the inside, I'm thinking I'm going to, again, test out the frosting tip. And so this one is very similar to this, except it's very, very small. It's much tighter. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to pipe lines to the inside, and then I'll put my sprinkles in between the lines. So I'm just going to start by slowly piping in, and I'm just kind of wiggling my hand a little bit to make the buttercream have a little bit of movement. And so I piped one. You can't tell it's straight down. Kind of in the middle, kind of not. So I'm going to pipe. I think I'm going to pipe them like a pie slice. So I'm just going to start in the middle on this side. And again, just kind of wiggling as I go along. And this one, I piped over the previous one. I think this one I may stop and then continue piping. So now I'm just going in between the cross. So I'm making kind of like a cross with my buttercream. And then one more. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my smoother. I'm going to kind of push down the middle section. And I think I'll put some sprinkles there as well, just to kind of mask the look of it. I'm just kind of swirling it like so. And then I'm going to go ahead and do my sprinkles. So I'm just going to put them in between the piping, and I'm going to do it every other one, and then the other insides of the pie slices will be filled with buttercream, I think. And so if you get some in the wrong place, just push them into the layer that you've made, and then whenever you cover them with buttercream, they should be concealed pretty well. So now I'm just going to use my finger, just kind of slide them how I want them. hard because I don't want to mess up the decoration I've done, but it's okay. If you get some on the outer edge, just push it in towards the inside and it will not be nearly as noticeable. What would be really good is if they had like a dropper where I could drop my sprinkles where I wanted them instead of having to make them fit on my own. So what's good about doing the sprinkles first is that then you can go back and touch up. And so I'm just going to then now fill in, first get the sprinkles out, and I'm just going to fill in the pie pieces. Which were not filled, like so. It's almost like making a little bit of a windmill kind of a look. And now I'm just going to take a few little sprinkles and put the sprinkles on the dollop of buttercream in the center. To add some fancy decorations. And now we'll be on to the final section, which is the sides that are right now currently not decorated. So I'm going to be using my final tip, which is the thin one with the teeth on the outside. And I'm going to check what this one looks like. Now I'm going to do a design where I pipe vertical stripes up and down the cake in the sections where there are sprinkles. So my buttercream is starting to get a little soft, which is unfortunate, but that can happen with Swiss meringue buttercream. But it will harden back up. In the fridge, just the design will be a little less exact through the piping tip, which is fine again. You can see what I've done. I've done little lines, about 3 lines or 4 lines per section. I think I'm going to do 4. Let me go back and add a 4th one. to my, and there, in one way that you can fix your buttercream not having the lines on it from it getting too soft is to pipe back up and rub the teeth against the other buttercream, and that will cause it to reform the lines. So last one. And the only reason the buttercream is getting soft is because it's a meringue-based buttercream. And meringue-based buttercreams tend to, especially if they have chocolate in them, can become soft in your hands. So I'm just going to pipe this buttercream out and get just a little bit more buttercream into my container to finish off this last one. It's a little bit less soft. I'm just piping it out until my newer buttercream comes through. And then I'm just going to swipe down to get some of the excess buttercream that I didn't get off with my scraper. And then I'm just going to pipe the chilled buttercream. It's a little bit nicer back up the cake to fill in some of the spots that don't look as nice. And that's it. It's just a nice little cake that will definitely be very tasty and allows you to experiment with different piping tips. So in this one I used 3 different piping tips, one to make the border, one to make the inside, and one to make the stripes up the side that ended up kind of being a little soupy. That's okay. And then I used some sprinkles on the top, and it kind of made it look like a little bit of a windmill. Okay. The top. And those are the sides. And thank you so much for watching. Hope to see you again soon.